I can't imagine you going to school at the age of 11 and trying to explain to your friends that you were racing.
At 11, I couldn't even hit the toilet with my piss. So there's a lot of, risks. But when you're going 230 miles per hour around the whole oval and you're side by side and you get clipped, you're going to be going for a ride. There's aggression, but there's also respect between drivers as well.
I have 3 children. I have my 2 sons that are drivers in the USF series. It's a little different dynamic being dad as well as team owner.
I'm there to do my job, focus, and drive the race car to the best of my ability. Other than when we pass checkered flag and I win, then we all go screaming on the radio.
The break talk, you're taking it to another level. Better get ready with your host, Adam and Loretto. The dopest show that you ever heard, ever seen. The podcast about nothing and everything. Yeah, break the break talk. Yeah, break the break talk.
Anthony's not allowed to drink. Anthony's pure athlete over here.
Pure athlete. Living pure.
I got a big race next week. So
Next week?
yeah, St. Pete. I got St. Pete next week.
Season opener.
So when do you fly there?
Wednesday. Get there Wednesday, and then we have a driver's meeting Thursday. Do all the media stuff there, and then we race on Friday and Sunday after the IndyCar.
So how's that whole process work? Do you like all the cars are already there, or they get shipped out?
Yeah, they all get. Obviously, we have big, massive trailers that all the mechanics and crew all go in, and they have the cars and the tents and all the stuff that they need during the weekend, and they'll have that at the racetrack, and everything's already there. Yeah.
Josh, are you excited for the season to start?
I'm really excited for it. We won the championship last year in USF 2000. So it was a great building year, to take this on. But I believe this year we have just such a strong driver lineup from top to bottom in all 3 divisions now, from USF Juniors, USF 2000, and the Pro 2000. So, we've been ready for the season to kick off for a couple months now. Like, it's go time.
Go time. And it's one of those sports that really, like, the season never really stops, like you were saying earlier, right? Like the off season's so short, but at the same time, you're just basically preparing for the next season. So there's never really so much of a downtime.
Yeah, I believe, last year we finished the season in Portland, and, after the championship banquet and celebration, I believe, 2 or 3 weeks later, we're right back at the track, and you're looking at new drivers for next year. And you're already getting back to work on improving your program, your car, your engineering, all that type of stuff.
So how did you find this guy over here?
Well, again, the first time I met him was when he actually ran his very first race in a USF Pro Championships car. Was him and my oldest son, Evan, debuted together at Sebring in what they call the Yak Academy Winter Series. And they were teammates, actually, on the team that I now co-own. But at that time, I was just dad with his son there, the same as Anthony and his father. And those 2 took off, and both were very impressive, from the first time out. And then his father and I kind of were standing there both nervous and, excited and about to throw up or needing a drink or who knows what, as these 2 are, running wheel to wheel in the track together. But he was impressive from the day I met him. Had a great winter series and pretty good first year that year. And then he's just continued to develop and grow, and with what he did last year and what he's done in the off season this year, I mean, we couldn't be more excited. I mean, the kid's a legit championship favorite, and
that's insane.
So for someone like
family, he's become family.
Yeah.
At that point, so.
Well, I was gonna say, for someone like me and Loretto, who obviously we haven't grown up maybe watching this sport as a kid, or maybe don't see too much besides like maybe F1 and stuff like that, the big name of it. How would someone get involved in something like this? Like, it seems like it's something where, your father may do it or and then you kind of pass down, but is it something that you go and sign up for? Is it kind of like a culture thing? It's for the average sports fan or someone looking to expand, where would someone go to sign up for this?
Yeah, I think you have that percentage of them that get into the sport because maybe they had a dad or a uncle or a grandfather or somebody who is in motorsports of different disciplines. Could be, like I said, from the open wheel world, like you say, Formula One and IndyCar, to you could have the stock car world. They did different divisions of NASCAR, and there's also sports cars, things of that nature. But, I think the majority of them, it comes from, the young man or young lady who decides that that's the sport they like, or something sparked an interest in them, and they start in go-karts, and then you think a lot of them, you'll see they'll start at your local fun park or driving a go-kart at a thing like that. And then they were like, wait, I really like to do this competitively. And then they convinced their, usually the dad, because the moms are a little hesitant at first. They're like, don't hurt my baby, but and they'll start that path and usually start with local karting and move into like more of a regional karting, then national, and then progress into, the junior formula ranks of race cars.
So Anthony, you started racing obviously at a young age. How old were you?
I started racing when I was 11 years old, racing, like Josh said, track at Mossborough Karting Center. It was 45 minutes from my house. Obviously, my dad was racing at Mossborough. He started at Mossborough at a pretty old age, but I was 5 years old, 6 years old, washing his cars, being around the team, and ever since those early days, I knew it was something that I wanted to start doing. And ever since my first laps in karting, it was always something that I wanted to do for fun. And being around the track, seeing all the kids there and being competitive with all of them was a lot of fun until I started winning massive championships in Canada. And then, started to think like, maybe I actually have the talents and I can actually do this. And took off from there, went to the US, started doing a bunch of national level races there. And here I am now doing USF 2000. I did my rookie year last year, obviously. And it was a good rookie year, getting a win at arguably the hardest racetrack in the calendar. So obviously to have Josh here in Canada for the Rising Star Award means a lot to me, and looking forward to St. Pete next week.
That honestly, dude, like you're very, very mature, and you hear it in your voice. You're a very well-spoken young man, and I can't imagine you going to school at the age of 11 and trying to explain to your friends like that you were racing, and like. To me, I would have just looked at the guy and be like, yeah, you're full of shit. Like, there's no fucking way you were just racing all weekend. But I mean, you grew up with it. You saw your dad do it and you fell in love with the sport. And it's crazy to see, like, from my point of view, the level of the sport is really at. Like, for me and Adam as well, I'm sure this is like a learning experience.
100%.
And it's crazy to see.
At 11, I couldn't even hit the toilet with my piss. Like I couldn't even imagine go-karting and doing something at that speed, at that level. And I think I did bumper cars one time and loved that.
You were a goalie.
I was a goalie.
You were a fat kid that played video games, and your parents signed you up for soccer because that's all you were good for.
Yeah, and I fucked up that.
It's impressive. I mean, to be at such a young age and be able to process the amount of information that they have to in real time at those type of speeds, and then develop not only in the race car, right, to be able to work on your racecraft and learn how to, navigate through that, but it's developing outside of the race car as well, because, as you progress up through the sport, sponsorship is just crucial to the success of any young driver and as well as professional drivers. And really at that point, you're nothing but an extension of the brand there that's sponsoring you too. So you're representing a big brand who's helping fund the program and market their product through, a driver like Anthony right there. So you have to be just as good out of the car as you are in the car, to make it to the top levels of the sport. And that's what we work on at this level here, is not only just developing their talents in the car, but turning them into a great young man outside of the car as well. Yeah.
And that's a huge
and a marketable product. Right?
Yeah, in every sport too, but especially in racing, right? Like you said, with the sponsorships, that's everything. You don't want a dirtbag, racing, and he's a great racer, but outside of the car, he's just, you don't want to be around him. You're like, I'm not putting my name or my company around that, right? So it's awesome to hear that that's actually really enforced and a goal of it, right?
Yeah, they grow up quick in this sport.
You kind of have to.
Yeah. They're a little more of a public eye at a younger age than a more stick and ball type of sport, right? So
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're racing at 11 years old at go-kart tracks, and it's a very cutthroat sport at the end of the day. You're going to have your really bad weekends, and it just makes the good weekends that much more sweeter, and you get more mature. And as you go through a lot of media and, the live streams want to interview you, you start to pick up these good habits of speaking, and you just obviously learn naturally, and it makes you a lot more mature, as you said.
So you're saying the brake talk's just fucking nothing to you? You got TSN and fucking the brake talk's nothing. I've been here, done this.
No.
Yeah. How does the TSN room look better than ours? A little better, right?
I didn't actually go into a TSM room. I only did it on the phone call. I think I did it while I was at the Super Nationals in Las Vegas. I did it on the phone call at like 4 a.m. I had to wake up. They called me and had to do it on there. But
yeah, but they're all serious and shit. They suck.
yeah.
You
know what? To be honest, they're pretty cool guys.
Oh
like
my
you
god,
guys.
give me something here. Give me
No, he said like you guys.
you guys.
Yeah, we got that. We're a
The
little
conversation was flowing. Jokes were coming out. They were making fun of me for my hair.
Yeah. What's going on there? What do you got going on? I had blonde hair once.
Yeah.
Cool. He had all blonde hair. Actually,
I mean, I had it when I was a kid and kind of stuck. So
yeah, I like it. I personally,
Thank
he
you.
Wasn't a
Appreciate
big fan of it when I did it, but.
No.
I'm just glad he grew it back. Last year he decided to shave it off at one point.
Yeah, I did shave it
It looks
off.
a lot better with a little more
Yeah,
hair.
I did a buzz.
done that too.
Yeah.
Done that. Buzz cut days.
It was a tough couple months, but it grew back, so it's all good.
So I'm curious on like the training of it. So obviously, you have to be an athlete. With you being so young and stuff like that, what is the training look like as compared to your typical, basketball, football, hockey player? Do you take upon the same physical training as they would?
Yeah, I'd say so, but it's obviously a bit more different. As we're going in the car, we pull a lot more G-forces to our neck, and you're strapped in the car.
Sorry. Explain to me G-force.
G-force, obviously, you have a lot of downforce in your race car, and when you go through the corner, your neck just takes a lot of impact. And I train my neck quite a bit, I'd say, during my training. Obviously, you have to have strong forearms to be able to handle the ovals. You're constantly turning in the ovals. It's a circle, so you're constantly turning, and it's very fatiguing on your arms as well. It gets very, very hot in the car during like these very hot weekends. Like we're going to Florida. I don't even know what the temperature is going to be there, but I assume it's going to be very hot. So your cardio has to be really good. I do cardio 6 times a week, and neck, I'd say 4 times a week, as well as a lot of stretching as well. Before every workout, I like to stretch. It's I feel it's so valuable just to be very very dependent on moving your body and being very flexible as well.
Yeah. As someone who played house league goalie, I understand the stretching part. But the neck, explain to me the neck training. Like, are you doing like weighted?
Yeah. So normally, like my trainer will just get like a rubber band. I'll have like a towel on it just so that he doesn't rip my hair out.
Yeah.
I'll put the towel on my hair, and then he'll, do either 3 sets of like 20 or something as hard as I can, and we'll we obviously do a few stuff and that's what trains my neck.
Wow.
You never done that?
No, I haven't done that.
I mean, people at the gym look at it and they just stay and watch a second. I'm just like, I have a face that I'm just trying to obviously take the impact from him pulling.
Yeah.
And people look at the gym like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it is what it is.
Did you ever wake up with a sore neck or like?
No.
You don't have
I do
those necks.
a lot of stretching, so I don't do that. No, I don't wake up sore.
See, I sleep on my pillow wrong, and like I can't move my neck for like a day.
Yeah. Wait till you get my age. That's an everyday type of thing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone tying a fucking band on my head, and I'm like trying to like. Yeah.
So what would you say the most important aspect of it? Would you say the cardio is
the cardio is a big one. I'd say the neck is very important as well as you move up the ladder system. Obviously, USF juniors, you have a little bit of G-forces, but it's not that much. USF 2000, same thing. But as you start to getting pro, Indy Next, IndyCar, it starts to get more downforce, more power, and it's just more physical on your neck. And even F1 drivers have a lot of downforce going through the corner. About, I'd say Silverstone at Copse, probably like it's a racetrack in England. They go probably 5.5 G-forces on your neck. So, you gotta be strong.
Now, are you doing this training in the off season and in season?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, so it's the same.
Yeah.
So when you are racing, you were saying there's about 18 races.
Yeah, 18 races throughout the season. So we started in St. Pete in February, and we will end it off in Road America mid-September. I think it's the week of my birthday, actually.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what's the date length of these 18 races? How long are they completed in roughly?
Well, obviously we'll have race at St. Pete in February, and then we'll shift to the month of May where we'll do 2 Indianapolis races. That's the month of May in IndyCar standards is the Indianapolis. So they'll do the Indianapolis road course, then the Indy 500. We'll do the Indianapolis road course and the Freedom 75, which is the race I won last year. So, and then from there, I don't know, obviously the specific dates from top of my head, but
No, I'm saying like, it's around like 3 months, you would say.
We'll probably race every other month or every month, depending on the weather and stuff like that. And different series, because different series go to these racetracks as well. So depending on scheduling and all that as well.
Wow.
And Josh, you see this from a whole different point of view, right? You're obviously, your son's in it, but you're yourself, you're the owner of a team or you're part of the team. So you see it from all different aspects and the end goal of it. So how is that from seeing it from ground up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different dynamic being, dad as well as team owner as well, right? So you have to balance it. But, we have I have 3 children. I have my 2 sons that are drivers in the USF series, and I have a daughter as well, too. Thankfully, she's decided not to get into the racing world. But we on the race weekends we handle it a little differently. I'll always be dad if they need me, but while we're there and we're racing, we're on track, whether it's race weekend, practice, testing, they're just the 90 car or the 92 car, no different than any one of our other drivers there, right? So and that's the only way you can really go about that handle. Like this year, we're running 12 entries across 3 different divisions with the USF Juniors, USF 2000, and Pro 2000. So it's it's a program, it's a business, and it just happened to be I have 2 sons that are participating in it now, but obviously they will progress and move on or do it, and the business and the team is still going to be there, right? So they're just treated as any other athlete in our program, during those weekends.
And the best part is they love doing it, right? They
love it. Yeah, it's kind of like I said, they grew up at the track when I was driving in dirt tracks and ovals and stock cars through the years, so they were there since they were babies, cleaning the car and acting like they were changing tires on it, and all that type of stuff. So they grew up into the business, and they both decided they were going to go play soccer for a while, and they didn't really race and have a traditional path. There more so as like Anthony had through the karting programs for years. They go-karted for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and then jumped in cars, and that was it. So they didn't have that long karting history. So a little different path, but they all find their own way.
And you grew up racing, like you enjoyed it, or like was it?
I started a little later in life. I didn't grow up as a kid doing it. I got into it more as a hobby as a young adult, and a much different form of racing. I just turned left. This whole turn right thing throws me off now that when these guys run the road courses and the street courses and whatnot. But that's the discipline that my 2 sons wanted to get into and go after, and here we are.
Wow.
So it's a big jump, though. It's not. Here we are, but there's got to be there's a journey, there's a road that's got you here, and you obviously have a passion and love for it. So take me through that journey. Like, what was that like going from the dune racing to now part of a team and owning it?
Yeah, it's I had a whole business career outside of racing for a little over 30 years in the intermodal shipping and transportation world, and as I started to exit out of that, back in 2021, and that's about the time when my boys were getting more actively involved into the racing world. And at that point, I was decided that, maybe it's time for a little bit of a career shift here. And we shifted kind of from that world into the racing world. And like most things that I've done in my life, I'm really not good at just sitting on the sidelines and watching, and being a small player in that world. We got into it. The team that my kids started driving with was, the same team that Anthony started driving with. The owner of the team there at that time, him and I just started talking, and kind of his vision for where he wanted to take the team, and my goals for where I wanted to do and get into the business kind of aligned, and we decided, hey, let's partner up and take this thing to new heights, and that's kind of how it started, and we've grown quite a bit, our both in size and performance, since we've joined forces, and there's a lot more to come, as far as taking the team and our group of drivers all the way to the top of the sport.
And taking your drivers to the next level and to the top of the sport, like you said, what's the timeline for that? Like, is this year like a huge year, or is there like a little bit of a gap where, that they have 2-3 years to kind of make a name for themselves?
I think, when you come out of karts and you come into open wheel cars, per se, in the USF ladder, there's 3 divisions of that. And I think, in that you can spend 4 to 6 years between those 3 divisions. And then you would move up into what's Indy NXT, which would be the second highest level. And that's, usually a 2-year time frame in there. And then Indy cars after that. But, there's 27 full-time IndyCar drivers in the world. So there's
crazy.
not that
Wow.
often that, a seat opens up, right? So, it's not like becoming an NFL player, an NBA player where, the NFL was 53 players on an active roster and 32 teams, right? I mean, there are 27 professional IndyCar drivers at the top level on earth.
So that's insane.
Yeah. So to get to that level, right? And if you're looking Formula One, there's 20, well, now 22 with the addition of the new teams. There's 22 in Formula One, 27 in IndyCar. That's a slim odds to get there.
Yeah.
Right? For looking at the thousands and thousands of, young athletes that start in the karting ranks with the dream of getting to that level.
Millions.
It's a tough.
Yeah. So is everyone's goal in racing is eventually to be an F1 driver? Is that
Or an Indy.
realistic?
Or the
Or,
an Indy.
is it the Indy? Because for me, I always see as someone who doesn't watch it that often, I see F1, right? The first time I got introduced to F1 seriously is honestly, I watched the Brad Pitt movie. I watched F1. I thought it was
Here we go again,
phenomenal.
it's Brad Pitt.
Well, yeah, I know.
They're the more famous drivers of the world because it's more of an international series. It's a worldwide series, right? They compete all over the world. It's a global brand, and F1 has become more, even a lifestyle brand, right? It's an event where influencers and
it's an
celebrities and the people that just want to be seen attend those type of events. And then on the North American series, you have NASCAR and IndyCar. IndyCar being the open wheel, NASCAR being the stock car series. I believe if you look at the 3 forms of racing, if you're looking just NASCAR, IndyCar, and Formula One, the most exciting racing, and to me, the most talented drivers, all-around drivers, is IndyCar, because a third of their schedule is on an oval, like we were talking about. A third of their schedule is on a road course, and a third of their schedule is on a street course. I feel you have to be a much more all-around, rounded, better driver. I feel the racing's more exciting, the more overtakes, more excitement, more just, I just feel that's the one with a lot of momentum right now is IndyCar. Is it going to get to the levels of Formula One? I would love to see that, but it's a long way to go, right? That's a global, worldwide phenomenon. But IndyCar is growing, where it's a true America series. They're competing in the United States and Canada, and I'm sure there'll be some expansion into some other markets within North and South America in the near future as the sport continues to grow.
Yeah.
Anthony, do you have like a favorite, or where you would typically want to end up? Is it like a F1 or an IndyCar? Like what do you rather drive? What are you more of a fan of? Like where are you at with that?
My dream is to win Indianapolis 500. I want to be an IndyCar driver racing the ovals. Like Josh said, I want to race the ovals. I want to race street circuits, and I want to race the road courses. For me, it's IndyCar is the goal, and I'm working as hard as I can to get there.
And why is that over F1? Like it's just,
well, obviously, it's also budget dependent as well. F1 takes a lot of obviously financially to get there, and it happens the series that I'm on. If you do win the championship and you do well, you get prize pools for it, and
nice.
It just makes you keep progressing through the ladder system to IndyCar, and that's the reason why. Obviously, I chose the USF Pro Championships, and I feel like I'm pretty good at the ovals. So, winning the Indianapolis 500 definitely my dream one day.
That's amazing. When I hear the oval and the racing, I can't stop my mind, but I think like Lightning McQueen. I don't know if that's fucked up, but like I think Lightning McQueen. I don't know. It just comes to my head. It's just
I honestly think when I think of Indy, I've seen I've seen their TikToks and Instagrams. I've seen some bad crashes. So my other question to you guys is injury protocol. How does that go down? Like, is there certain procedures for car rolling and stuff like that. How does that go? Is there any procedures for that? Because I've seen some bad crashes, and I obviously hate to be the guy to like scare you.
Yeah,
or anything
fuck
like
you,
that.
dude. Nobody wants to talk about that.
He's been racing long enough to know. I'm sure there is some sort of procedure.
Lucky I haven't had any real bad ones that got me injured. I had a pretty bad one at Mid Ohio where it's completely unavoidable. A driver went off track and lost control of the car and ended up putting me pretty hard into the wall.
Ooh.
Thankfully, I wasn't hurt or anything. But obviously in the lower series, not in IndyCar, if a driver does get into an accident, what we have is insurance on the car, so we'll obviously go through insurance. But if you don't, then you're gonna have to pay out of pocket for it.
Wow. And that's like out of pocket, or that's out of the team's pocket? Like that's what kind of?
Well, in the USF ladder system, depending on what you have with your team or anything, the driver most of the time pays for the.
Even if you're not at fault, like at all.
It's damage. You're the one driving it at the end of the day.
And do you guys have like a limit on what you can spend on cars in terms of I don't know the proper terms of it, but I know F1 has that.
There's in the junior, there's not per se a salary cap, but they're a spec racing series, right? So there's only so much that you can do to the car and still be compliant and legal with the rules. So that keeps the budget costs down, or in the playing field pretty equal amongst the teams. But they're really what you spend on that is you can spend $15 million on a shop or work in a $200,000 shop. Just the professionalism or quality of the team and the product that you're putting out there is really the differentiator.
Yeah. So who's in charge of what is all the teams? Like what brings the car together? You have the racer, which is the one everyone sees. This is the public.
He's the quarterback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're the
Tom Brady.
Yeah. Let's call it Tom Brady. And then you have the team behind it. You have the people who design the car.
That's in Formula One, some others. So like these are spec series. So the cars are all bought from the same manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
But the backbones of the team, obviously are the driver driving the car.
Right.
But then you have your engineering team. You have your mechanical team. Crew chiefs, mechanics, pit road crew. Things of that nature. And then you have a lot of behind the scenes people. You have marketing and social media people, and obviously your team ownership and management. And then you have a great group of people that just stay in the shop and work on the cars and prep them properly and get them ready to go to the track each and every week.
Wow.
So it's a true team sport, all the way around. I mean, the driver's the one out there on race day and gets, all the glory or all of the heat, depending on how it goes. But there's a whole team supporting him from behind, from the team ownership all the way down to everybody in the shop, to the person who's cleaning up the floor in the shop at night. I mean, everything is on a race team usually meticulously maintained, clean, tight, prepped right. And it takes an army of people to make that race go off on a Saturday or Sunday, all week long.
It's crazy. So much involved that a lot of people don't know or even understand what goes into it, especially
and just transporting equipment, the drivers that drive the trucks and the haulers. And I mean, it's just so many people that get that car on that grid for the green flag on race day.
Wow. So what would you say so far is the coolest place you raced at?
Well, coolest place, I mean, every track really has its unique and historic value. I'd say the Indianapolis road course is definitely one that I genuinely love. In the Indy 500 races there, the road course is beautiful. It's a great track. So lucky that we get to have the fall combine there. We get to do a test before the race there in October. Obviously, it's a big time gap between the race, but going to that track, it's special. Doing the track walk with your engineers, your teammates, you just look around and you're like, we're racing with the 500s at.
And that's where legends are made, right?
Exactly.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah. You win at the Indianapolis road course or the 500, you're a good driver. And
you did, didn't you?
No, I won at the oval. It's not at the road course. I didn't win at the road course. But yeah, that's probably my favorite one. That I probably my bucket list one to win is obviously racing at home. It's my home race. And now it's Markham. Last year was Toronto. So winning at Markham will definitely mean a lot to me, and to have all the all the Canadian fans there, and my parents, my grandparents, my friends, winning there will mean quite a bit to me.
That's awesome.
When you say like you guys have both used the terms like road course, oval, what's the other one?
Street circuits.
Street. What's like? This might be stupid to you guys, but what is the difference between these things? Like I'm like this is new to me.
The road course is just regular tracks. Like a Road America. There's grass in between like the tracks and or the corners and stuff like that. Where the ovals is just an oval, just an oval. And you guys race around the oval. It'll, depending on how long it is, between 20 to 40 seconds, depending on which one. And the street circuits is racing on the streets. In Toronto, we're racing down Lakeshore Boulevard. We have the barriers or the concrete walls surrounding the whole track. So you make a mistake or you go offline, you're in the wall. So that's what the ovals, the road courses, and the street courses are.
And why do they have so many different types of like circuits? Like if your main goal is the Indy, like why do they have the street courses that are going right and left, and why do they have these different?
Because it's hard and it's very unique, and having a big race at the popular cities, obviously it draws a lot of attention and fans will want to come out to that, and it also keeps drivers on their toes and making sure that they learn the track, and the evolution of the track is a lot as well. Obviously, you're driving on the regular street, so when you start on free practice 1, there's no grip, but by the end of the weekend there'll be rubber marks everywhere. Right. So and it's also a lot of fun. A lot of drivers like it. A lot of drivers hate it for the exact same reason. And that's because it's a hard track.
Were you nervous for your G2?
No.
like you're talking about all this shit. Like, you had to go do your G2.
Yeah, I wasn't nervous. But the only thing I was nervous about is
speeding.
Not speeding. If they were gonna be hard on me for little stuff like that.
Did they have any idea that you raced?
No, they didn't.
Wow.
Probably best you just keep that quiet.
Yeah. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, my question is with that is now that you're driving, do you ever kind of feel like you just want to drift the corner or something like that?
No, I leave all my racing to the
racing?
Track. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's I drive safe. I'm pretty chill on the road, but the moment I put my helmet on, it's going fast time.
Yeah. So with this Indy 500 being obviously the race you would like to win at and compete at, is that something where you look at it with all the different obstacles? Do you look at it, that's what kind of separates you guys from F1, with F1 being, I'm pretty sure there's different tracks, right? You have the oval, you have the street, and what was the other one you were saying, sorry?
The road courses.
Road. And with F1, you only have the one
road and street.
Road and street. Yeah,
right.
The road courses and the street
F1
circuits.
doesn't compete on ovals.
Yeah.
That's a uniquely
now,
North American type of thing. Right?
Is oval the hard? Like, what would you say the hardest track is?
In terms of physicality part, I'd say the ovals are probably the
That's
hardest.
when the things like on like a 45, right?
Yeah.
The pavement.
Banking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of them you have, you go full throttle through the whole thing, or some you have to brake or downshift or lift, and yeah, they're tough, man. They're tough.
But it's aggressive. Like the drivers are aggressive.
Yeah.
Like from what I've seen, like F1, if you fucking kind of cut someone off, it's like flag fucking -5 seconds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Those guys just fucking bang, like just like they don't give a shit.
I think you're talking about NASCAR. IndyCar is a formula car like F1, but
Oh, okay.
but I mean, same mentality. Everyone's there to win at the end of the day. So yeah.
Is it more aggressive though than the F1?
I'd say it's equal at times. Ovals, there's a lot of risks that is involved. Obviously, F1 has a lot of risks as well. But when you're going 230 miles per hour around the whole oval and you're side by side and you get clipped, you're gonna be going for a ride. So there's aggression, but there's also respect between drivers
sure.
as well.
230 miles an hour.
Miles per hour. Yep, that's the average speed sometimes.
Wow.
That's what you're racing at?
No, I'm racing the lower level of that.
Well, what's the lower level of that?
I mean, we don't really have an average speed, but I'd say around the Freedom 75, the US 50,000. What do you say we go 120 miles per hour, 120? But it's obviously a shorter track than the Indy 500 as well.
Dude, that's still fucking insane.
Yeah.
Don't underplay that.
Yeah.
That's
The
insane.
Break Talk podcast is brought to you by Skilled Trades College. Looking to get involved with the trades but don't know where to start? Where can you find all the info, Loretto?
Head over to skilledtradescollege.ca and get the skills to pay the bills.
All right. Obviously, you can drive fast, but can you build your goat? Loretto, it's break
I've been looking
time.
forward to this one. I've been looking forward to this one.
Have you listened to it?
Yes, I'm looking forward to this one.
Okay,
All
so
right.
you'll start it off, and then you'll get the gist of it. So this is what we call break time. It's our segment of the show where it's your turn to build your version of the greatest athlete of all time. So I'm going to list you 4 categories. The categories are mindset, athleticism, clutch factor, and trash talk. You have to pick one athlete for each category, and you cannot repeat the athlete. This athlete can be from any sport and any era. Okay,
All right.
so Anthony, you can start it off. The first one is mindset.
Mindset, I got to go with my GOAT, Max Verstappen, right off the bat. My mindset, Max Verstappen. What's the second one?
The second one is athleticism.
Athleticism, Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Clutch
what's
factor.
clutch factor? Clutch factor, that's a hard one. I would say Max Verstappen just off of his performance in
Yeah.
2025, but I say Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay, that's
Okay.
good. And trash talk.
Conor McGregor. Easy
Yeah.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor McGregor.
So it's hard to argue.
Conor
Yeah,
McGregor.
that one.
Easily.
That one's a lock. That one's a lock. Okay, you got the
Yeah,
gist of
yeah,
it.
the gist. Got it.
All right, mindset.
See, that's where I would use Kobe Bryant there with the Mamba mentality.
That was mine.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Athleticism.
Oh, tough one there, but come back to that one.
All right.
I gotta
The
think on that
next,
one
the
for a
next
minute.
one's clutch factor.
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fast. Eh?
That was quick.
It's Michael Jordan.
I'm a
Yeah.
Chicago guy. How do you
Yeah,
go with
yeah,
anyone
yeah.
but him?
Trash talk.
Trash talk. I mean, Conor McGregor was a very good one, but I guess Dennis Rodman was pretty solid at that.
Wow.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, you still got athleticism. You got to fill
Yeah,
up.
athleticism. That's tough.
That one can be from any sport, right?
Yeah,
Like you
so
can.
I'm looking around there. I'm trying to. You got a lot of inspiration on the wall.
Yeah. Just look around. We got hockey. We got soccer.
If you see the KC helmet, feel free to say Mahomes
No,
at
do
any
not say
point.
Mahomes.
Who?
Patrick the GOAT Mahomes.
No.
It's
Does he
okay.
still play? Straight athleticism. I'm going to go with my hometown quarterback. Right, I'm going Caleb Williams.
Oh,
all
from,
right.
from the performance.
All
he
right.
put on
All
the ship.
right. See that
It is-
that's one we have not
It
heard.
is- let's just say it's not a GOAT. All right. Oh,
Are
man.
you a fan of Caleb?
I came around last year. The first year, I thought you showed moments of here and there, but I think last year he grew more as a second year quarterback than any other one in the league, and obviously the turnaround of the team. I'm all in with him.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah,
Drake May?
Yeah.
Okay. So how was the buzz around Chicago though? You guys won the first playoff game in a while.
Whew, it's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement around the team again. Obviously, it's a strong fan base in the city of Chicago for the Bears, but it was a much better year than I think the average fan there was anticipating. The new coach did an amazing job with Ben Johnson, and Caleb grew, I feel, leaps and bounds. But the offensive line was greatly improved from what he had his rookie year. So I mean, how much of that was the line, or how much was him that year? And I think coming into his third year, we're talking Super Bowl now. that's
Okay.
it.
Okay.
I actually took the Bears to go. We had
He
a
did.
podcast. We had a
he did.
podcast before the Super Bowl, and I called the Bears and the Pats,
There you go.
and I got one of them right. But I'm a Pats guy, so I think
Listen,
we hit the lottery on the number 3.
I mean, that team just reloads in New England, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't really rebuild.
Yeah.
They just reload.
For me, it's hard to tell who's a real Pats fan anymore because everyone just could be like a bandwagon.
Right, and then
So-
we have a guy who's a Chiefs fan who just calls himself a fucking bandwagon
Yeah.
openly. So
Yeah.
it's crazy to hear that.
Was Kelsey coming back, or is he riding off?
I hope not.
Yeah?
I really hope not. He's getting near the end. It's time to, remember and let go.
Yeah.
Right? He was great, but he's, let's just say, holding down the
It's
team.
time.
Yeah, it's time. Hang it up. But obviously the Patriots had a had a good run, and I think I've started to understand why people hate the Chiefs, because as a team succeeds, you're just like, oh, man, fuck that team, you know?
Yeah.
So as like the Patriots succeeded and like Drake May kept being good, and I was like, man, he's so overrated. Man, he's so overrated. But you know what? He's proved me wrong. I think he's a great quarterback.
It's a great place to watch a game. We had, through my intermodal company, we operate in Kansas City as well, so I had the opportunity to go to a few games. But just the game day experience at Arrowhead is really cool.
It's one of the loudest stadiums, actually.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Who did you see?
The Bears. I think I've been to a Broncos game there and a Bears game. But
Yeah. So what would you say the nicest stadium for you?
been to quite a few. I mean, the nicest stadium, I believe, is SoFi. Nicest one that I've been to date.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, we went to the first game when fans were allowed to come, because their first year was the COVID year where fans weren't allowed in the stadium. So the next year, when the first game that fans were allowed, we went to that. And again, it was the Bears playing there.
Yeah.
So we went out for that. But just an incredible stadium. I mean, top to bottom.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to check that out just because of the new, like, all the new renos, obviously, but they spent like some stupid number,
Crazy. Yeah.
like billions.
Yeah.
I think that's the newest stadium in the NFL.
SoFi?
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure.
Well, the Bills will be, because I
the
believe
Bills
they're-
this year.
Yeah, Tennessee's building one right now. I believe Titans are building a new stadium.
Oh,
yeah?
Currently. Yeah. So I think they got one more year before they move into it, though. Yeah.
Wow. It's like NFL's growing. It seems like now with all sports are growing, right? Like NASCAR. I mean, like I said, I always say like F1 is something that we've had a few people on now who have been really into racing, and it's something that kind of caught us by surprise of how quick it's growing. And I think sports as a whole is growing, and especially, you know, you guys being from the States, you guys see it firsthand. Us only really, I would say, hockey and basketball really shine here.
Well, I mean, now I don't know if you've definitely heard of this league. The CFL is fucking blowing up like crazy.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing.
Huge.
Yeah.
You know the CFL, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
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 The
You like the
Argonauts.
CFL?
Somehow you'll figure out where to put the goalpost onto the field, and then it'll work out a little bit.
With the nice big rugby ball there.
Yeah.
No, we actually hate the CFL. The CFL sucks. So.
Yeah.
It's tough to watch.
It's I don't know anyone who's actually sat down and watched a game, but you know, I have the urge to kind of get on and kind of sit down and maybe watch some NASCAR, kind of see what it is all about, because as we, you know, hear people talking about it and hear it growing to this crazy rate, I only thought it was only F1. You know, I'm sitting here thinking it was F1, and all you hear about is like Lewis Hamilton, who's
That's
like
the beauty of Netflix, right? The Drive to Survive show put F1 on the map in a
100%.
big way.
Yeah.
But you know, it's good for all forms of motorsports, though, because if you become a fan of that, you know, you eventually get exposed to some of the other forms like IndyCar or NASCAR or sports car racing. And there's so many different disciplines of racing, right? It's not just Formula One, IndyCar, and NASCAR. There's a lot of other forms of racing that these drivers can go into, other than the three top series there.
Now, I've personally seen some stuff with the reaction tests you guys do. So how often do you guys go through that training? I know we're kind of circling back to the training, but I'm just curious to see, because I know the training is different. And do you guys do a lot of reaction tests?
I do my reaction time training with one of my guys here in Vaughan. His name is Reed from Optimum Edge, and we do a whole bunch of training. We don't really do the balls. I know you probably have.
No, I saw the buzzer.
What buzzer?
It was tap like
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. The one that we have at his shop or whatever, it's called a Dynavision. So there's a whole bunch of lights. We'll be pressing them, and then I have to read like a 7-digit number within like 4/10. It'll flash on and then come right off.
Wow.
So I'll do training like that. I think I go twice or once a week, depending on obviously my schedule.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? We had George St. Pierre on, and one of the things that he talked about, especially in fighting, was the mental exhaustion. And it was almost like he talked about a strategy of his was just faking stuff and just showing like small movements without actually going to fake a punch. And it was something that he worked on, that he thought he had the edge over other athletes. And it's kind of similar to that. And he just posted about it recently, actually. And what he does is actually just go from dot to dot to dot to dot to dot, and actually just train his brain to understand like the small movements to not get exhausted because he would do that to like in his fights. If you watch him fight, he'll do like a small little twitch, and over time the athlete gets mentally tired of seeing that and then doesn't expect it, and then at the moment it
drops the hammer. Yeah.
Right. And because they're mentally tired, and it's the small things that he's barely even using energy on. Right. So that's a whole different side of training.
It's great you say that, because in racing it's something similar. If you know, like a street circuit, for example, at St. Pete, if you're behind a guy like a car with, and you're just always the same gap, and you can't close, you can't pull away, it's always the same gap. When I'm in that position, I'll try to fake a move down the inside. You know, like I'll fill his mirrors, make sure that he sees that I'm going to go in, but then I won't. So make it seem like he's going to block, to make him make a mistake. Yeah. And then he'll constantly look in his mirrors and make mistakes, and that's when I'll throw in my opportunity and go for the pass. Same idea. But when I'm in that position and someone's doing that to me, I train my mind really hard to just focus on what I can do and hitting all my marks, you know, starting from the breaking point, making sure I'm breaking at my reference point, making sure I'm hitting the apex, making sure I'm doing everything that I normally do, even when he's trying to make me distracted and make me make those mistakes.
Right. That's interesting. See how like everything kind of relates in a sense of it's very
especially at the level where, you know, drivers don't make a lot of mistakes. You have to try everything, and you're not just gonna, you know, go from a 5 seconds back to right on the guy's gearbox, right?
Right.
Everyone's so close. Everyone's so competitive. Everyone's so talented. You got to make sure you're trying different things in order to win.
So with the driver obviously being, let's say, the quarterback of the team here, now obviously you guys are listening to your team while you're driving. Is there ever a point in time where you may see something that, you know, your team's not seeing, and you kind of, not say don't listen, but you kind of go up on your own to either do something or, you know, not do what your team is asking you to do, and because you feel like it's a competitive advantage for you?
To be honest, the team will never, I wouldn't say never, but they don't normally tell me what to do or what not to do. And they normally just leave me to drive. I mean, the races are somewhat 20 laps, more so the races, other than the oval, which is 75 laps. So they'll obviously call the green and, you know, just keep reassuring, you know, the gaps of people behind or in front of me, letting me know if I'm fast or if I need to, you know, make some adjustments to my driving. And little stuff like that. We don't have full on conversations on the radio. I'm there to do my job, focus, and drive the race car to the best of my abilities. So
no tunes in the car, right?
Yeah, other than when we pass checkered flag and I win, then we all go screaming on the radio. But yeah.
Is there ever a time that you know, it's coming in close and it's like a split decision and you have to make, where it's like, I should go for the pit stop, but it's like, I'm just gonna ride the tires out? And
in our series we don't run pit stops.
You don't?
No.
Oh, I'm here thinking it's like Brad Pitt in the fucking.
You gotta stop thinking about Brad Pitt, bro. Like honestly, like it's
There's a serious man crush there.
You honestly, if you had watched another episode of him talking about Brad Pitt,
we had the.
Oh my god!
Well, he was an F1 racer, and like, I watched F1 like a week before, and I'm like, "Fuck, let's hit him with all
stop.
these."
You're just burying yourself. Even just stop. Just stop.
It's rare that we do pit stops in our series. You could if you know, if it's declared a rain race and we go out on rain tires or wet tires and the track dries during the race, we could come in and do a live pit stop, switching back to you know, slicks and dry tires, and that's a live pit stop. But you know, those are rare.
Yeah. I mean, we do pit stops in practice and qualifying. Like we show up to St. Pete, we're gonna have a baseline of what we think the car is gonna be good. But obviously, as we go running, we start to notice some flaws about the car, and then, you know, we'll make the ethical decision of maybe pitting and making a change or putting on a fresh set of new tires and go out and do a lap. And same thing in quality. You know, if the temperatures change and we start on new tires, you know, if it's really, really cold, we know that it's going to take a lot of time for the tires to get up to temperature. So we won't go for that second set of tires. We'll make smart adjustments in that sort of sense. But when we're racing, as soon as the green flag drops, we go.
Wow. Now, Josh, for yourself, for you're obviously, you know, you're not racing, you're kind of on the outside of it, kind of managing it and stuff. Where would you like to see the sport go now? So, you know, you've raced before. Obviously, your career was cut short, let's say, to an injury, right? The good old injury.
Old?
Yeah. So where would you like to see the sport go now?
I mean, I love IndyCar, right? And to me, it's like I said earlier, it's the most exciting form of motorsports, in the world to me, more than Formula One, more than NASCAR, just through the diversity of the tracks, the excitement on tracks, the drivers, the personality, and the Indy 500, just all of those things considered. I'd love to see it as the number one form of motorsports, in the world, but definitely back as the number one form in North America, right? I mean, NASCAR kind of holds that title right now as far as viewership, on TV, but IndyCar is growing at a very fast rate. And I feel it's just a matter of time before it's tops in the Americas again, in the Western Hemisphere.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Joshua Cooley, Anthony Martella, thank you guys for joining the show. I know you guys got rezos for later. We don't want to cut your rezo short.
Have to race there.
Yeah, I see Tony giving me the evil eye right now. I'm like, fucking, all right, we get it. We got to go. But thank you guys so much for coming
really
on the show.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate you having us. Yeah,
where can people find you if they're interested in kind of checking you guys out, social medias and stuff like
on
that?
Instagram, Anthony Martella.
Anthony Martella.
Yeah. Teams Exclusive Autosport, on Instagram as well. But follow along.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Take care.